They appreciate the police as much as the very next guy. Like you said, most, majority of people, we want public safety. We want to be secure in our homes. We don't want to, we want to leave our house and we want to, go to work feeling safe, and leave our kids in school feeling safe. Our spouses, make them go to work feeling safe and come back. So this is one of the reasons. And Suffolk County happens to be one of the safest neighborhoods in the United States.
I'm ready, man. I'm very excited. So before we go out to headquarters,
Sure.
take me around the first precinct area where I know you used to work.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a little drive around the precinct.
Yeah, show me the nice areas, show me the bad areas.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good. This is Long Island.
Long Island is great. I love Long Island.
All right. So this is the precinct itself. It's named after Patrolman George A. Fries, first precinct.
Okay.
And Patrolman Fries was killed in the line of duty many years back. There was a domestic violence call. I think it was North Babylon here somewhere. And soon after he approached the house where the domestic violence call was generated from, he was ambushed from an elevated position with a rifleman.
Was that in Wyandanch?
Was it Wyandanch or North Babylon?
Or North Babylon, yeah.
Yeah, this is right here. And any military guys watching, if you have the high ground, it is the best offensive position that you can be in.
Yeah.
And Patrolman Fries was ambushed.
He responded by himself, right?
Yeah. Then I think he was killed by this rifle fire. And then there were other cops that responded, shielded him with their own bodies, got him out of the line of fire, got him to the hospital. I think another cop was shot. And but George Fries, Patrolman Fries, ended up paying the ultimate price and died in the line of duty. So many brave cops here in Suffolk County. We have a history of service and sacrifice, and giving outstanding police service to our residents and citizens. So this is West Babylon area. Beautiful spring day.
Oh, it's a gorgeous day today.
So yeah. We go from West Babylon into Wyandanch. For me, especially in community relations, all areas are good.
Yeah.
There's just definitely...
There's a higher percentage of some criminal element sometimes.
It could be, yes.
Oh, I don't know if there's a higher percentage. Is that just the perception?
Well,
because it seems like there's more gunshots. I understand. I understand that certain areas may be considered bad and other areas may be considered good, but I know from working in those areas that the majority of the people that live in those areas are good people.
99% of the people are good people. They just want, regardless of the neighborhood, people want one thing: to be safe in their person, in their family, in the neighborhoods. That's what majority of the people want. It doesn't matter what area you're from.
But when you cross, this this underpass that's coming up, there is a higher percentage of shots fired calls.
Yes, possibly. There are, crime-wise, they may be.
Like I judge an area by how many shots fired calls are there in that area. Like, wouldn't any reasonable person judge an area by by that stand? Oh, what? I don't think they saw you.
All right. Okay, that was a close one.
That was a close one. We almost got sideswiped by a driver not paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, and you have to judge people by, their character, who they are and what they do.
Yes, but as an officer, officer safety-wise speaking, right? Yes. If you're aware that an area has a high number of shots fired calls,
sure,
you probably are going to patrol that area a little bit.
Yeah, we have, and as a matter of fact, this is one of the areas that we have a double car. Patrol officers are doubled up in cars in some of the high crime areas, where there are more propensity for violence, or shots being fired, like you said, or whatever the case may be. So this is one of those areas,
Yeah.
But I am not a patrol officer. I work in the community relations capacity, so I see things from a different perspective. Not just patrolling, not just crime, but more in a community.
I was in the community policing unit for a decade.
Yeah, first precinct. Right? Yeah,
first precinct for a long, long time. So I know all about those community meetings, and I know that, like you said, 99% of the homeowners here are good people.
Absolutely, and they appreciate the police.
Yes, they do.
I mean,
that's one of the benefits of working in Suffolk County.
Yeah,
is that the residents appreciate the police. Right?
As a matter of fact, the approval rating for Suffolk County Police. Can you guess what it is in Suffolk County?
Yeah, it's I saw the stat. It's like 70% or
90%.
90% approval rating.
Approval rating.
Wow.
90%. And
that's got to be one of the highest in the country.
Yeah, and I think it is. And in the minority community, it's about 85%.
Wow.
So you would, you might have a propensity to believe that minority communities don't like the police. It's really not true. They appreciate the police as much as the very next guy. Like you said, most, majority of people, we want public safety. We want to be secure in our homes. We don't want to, we want to leave our house and we want to, go to work feeling safe, leave our kids in school feeling safe. Our spouses, make them go to work feeling safe and come back. So this is one of the reasons. And Suffolk County happens to be one of the safest neighborhoods in the United States.
I remember you and I talking and saying that we don't want this to become the city. Because we live here.
We love Long Island.
Long Islanders love Long Island. Yes, we live here, and we don't want this to become what the city is.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And I think most of the residents and most of the command staff all feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Right? We love Long Island. We want it to be safe, and
we are separate and distinct from the city.
Yes, we are.
We have it's a much more closer knit community here. We have almost 3 million people here on Long Island.
When did they change up the Compare Foods? There's a new new building.
Yeah, they did. And actually, there's a whole bunch of initiatives going around in this area, especially in Wine Edge.
Did you see the video of the guy jumping out of the window?
No, I didn't.
I have to send it. I have to share it to you.
There's one here?
So this building that we're approaching by the train tracks, there's a video on Instagram of a guy jumping out of a 3rd-story window.
Of the new apartment?
Of the new apartments and scaling. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I gotta share it with you. It's hilarious. It's really funny. And my son was like, "Oh, he's definitely running from the cops," and I'm like, "No, I think he was just messing with the wrong woman." And and I think he had to get out of there in a hurry.
All right.
The story, I haven't gotten the story from any of the train tracks coming down, so it's that building that's coming up on the other side of the train tracks. The guy jumps out of the window. I'm definitely going to share that with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is part of the downtown revitalization program. These are brand new apartments.
Yeah, a lot of people in the comments were saying, when did Wyandanch get nice?
Oh my God, yeah. This is a beautiful area. And for me, the food, ethnic food, Jamaican and Trini and Guyanese.
So when you mentioned that the first time I met you, I asked you if you were Trini or Guyanese. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because you're so brown, right? And
you get darker in the summer.
And you get darker in the summer. Yeah. So when do you remember when you came out? What month it was? Was it summertime?
Yeah.
So you're so brown, right? And you're like, no, I'm from India.
Actually, the department for the longest time, they had me as black. And they were actually, there was a press release. It was just so funny. So out of my class, it was the most diverse class at that time, and you know, they were boasting they had 6 black officers and 15 Hispanics and so many women, and you know,
and they were counting you as one of the 6.
And all the black officers, they were like, who's the 6th black person? And
because
I'm you know, we had in the academy with the shaved head, and I'm dark as hell. It's summertime. And but of course, if you start talking to me,
if you speak to you, you immediately hear the Indian accent.
Exactly.
But when I hear the Indian accent, I know that there's a lot of Indians in Guyana, and also in Trinidad.
Yes.
So I happen to know that, and that was my assumption. But you're like, no, my family's from India. Which is really cool. So did you ever watch the movie Slumdog Millionaire? That's all that I know about India.
Well, it is.
I know that, and I know about the Festival of Lights.
Yeah, Diwali. Diwali is the Festival of Lights. And India, it's a pretty large country. It's
massive.
The most populous, it overtook China at this point.
Did you know that it's the #1 English-speaking language in the world?
Actually, yeah, I do know that.
You do know that?
Because I'm Indian. I grew up in India.
Well, how old were you? What part of India did you grow up in?
So, yeah, I'm from southern India, from a state called Kerala.
Okay.
That's all the way in the south. You know how India comes down as a peninsula?
Yeah.
And so there's the ocean on the left. It's called the Arabian Sea.
Okay.
And the ocean on the right is called the Bay of Bengal, and the ocean at the bottom is called the Indian Ocean. So where the 3 oceans meet, you know, 3 seas meet, is a state called Kerala, and that's where I'm from.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so this is all these new apartments, beautiful ones.
Yeah. So
expensive, and yeah.
So you see that 3rd story window up there?
That is as high as it goes. Okay.
Well, not really. See the first set of windows? That would be considered the 2nd story.
Okay.
So that next set of windows up there, the middle one, guy jumped out from there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh my God.
Yep.
And he was okay?
Yeah, he ran off, so yeah, I think he was okay.
So yeah, so we are going to the edge of the 1st precinct, going into 2nd precinct. One of the great things about being a community relations police officer, especially recruitment, is you have no geographic limitations. You go wherever the job takes you.
Nice.
So I think you know from your patrol days, you don't go out even if you're a detective. You know.
Yep.
If you're in precinct, that's where you are.
You stay in your
precinct. There's nothing that takes you out of that precinct. You know? And
unless you discover food that's close to the border.
Close to the border, yeah. Then you can just tippy toe and come back, you know.
Because cops know all the best food spots.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's a joke about cops. I don't know if you know this. So, there was an immigrant. He came from Italy, right? So he had a butcher shop, you know. So one day he thought to himself, you know, America, it's such a good place. You know, it's given me so much. I'm an immigrant. It's provided for me and the family, and we have everything that we have right now. And so the next customer that comes in, just as my token of appreciation, whatever he orders, I'm going to give it to him free. You know? So the next customer walks in, he gets his meat. The butcher says, you know what, this one is on me. And he's like, oh, why? He's like, you know what, just as a token of appreciation for you, you know. Well, thank you, man, I appreciate it. And he's very happy, and he's going home. And this guy happens to be a florist, you know. So he said, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing. So he goes back to his store, and the next guy that buys a bunch of flowers from him, he said, you know what, this one is on me. And it's like, why? He's like, you know what, I just want to give back to America and just my appreciation for the nation, you know. So that guy was picking up flowers was a mechanic. You know?
Okay.
So the mechanic guy, he, you know, the next customer shows up and is about to pay his bill, and he's like, you know what, this one is on me because, you know, I want to give my appreciation back to America and everything that's given me, and this one is on me, you know. And the next day, the mechanic comes back, and there's a line out the door. Because the last customer was a cop. You know? He went back and told all his buddies. And there's a line out the door with all the cops in the precinct, you know, for they want a free oil change and mechanic work. You know?
You only have to tell one person in the precinct.
Cop.
One cop. Whole precinct knows.
Yeah. So it's just a joke about cops. You
know? So back to the food thing.
Yeah.
I remember guys would get tight if somebody from another sector came to one of their favorite food spots.
Oh my God, no. You cannot mess with it. And you cannot overdo it.
You can't
hit rules about this.
You can't hit their spot too frequently.
Oh yeah.
And it can't be too far from your sector.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rules to it.
Yeah, exactly.
That you have to learn, yes. So for the new guys, don't be going too far out of your sector to go hit up a great food spot that you know of.
That's right. Yeah, those are, oh man, those seems like, yeah, I got 18 years on now, you know. And I know you got quite a bit of time.
26.
Wow,
yeah.
So, I mean, all those days are like, you know, long back memories, man. You know?
I know, it's fun. It's fun though.
But they were, yeah, I mean, those are good days too. You know, it was just a tight-knit group of people, and you know, I mean, like the job that I have now, it's very different.
I know you're not chasing anybody.
Not chasing anybody. And
I was going to ask you if we got out and had a foot chase right now. You think you could catch me?
Dave, you always been you know,
I've always been in good shape.
You know, I'm an Army guy too, by the way. But
how many years in the Army?
I got 28 years.
28 years in the Army. God bless you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
28 years in the Army, 18 years in the police department. I'm like 105 years old, by the way, you know? It's a joke, but I got 12 years of active duty, and then the rest of the time in the reserves. And that's how, you know, 28 years in the Army.
A life of service. Thank you.
That's all I know.
Thank you.
If they didn't give me a uniform and a gun, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's an entire lifetime of service. So you've already had two full careers.
Yes.
Full career in the military, full career in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Did you have a actual career before the military or before?
No, nothing. I came to this country when I was 17. And I graduated high school in like 6 months. And I joined the military within 9 months of being in this country, you know.
That's right.
I was 18 years old, you know.
You mentioned that your family was pretty wealthy, because I mentioned Slumdog.
Yeah.
What did your dad, both parents worked or just dad?
My mom was a nurse.
Okay.
And
shout out to the nurses. I love nurses. Thank you.
Cops love nurses.
Yes, we do.
By the way, yeah. So
we're gonna head east. Oh, we're gonna head north first.
Yeah. Just so we are in the 2nd Precinct area. I got a quick stop to make in Comac.
Okay, cool.
But
I'm excited.
Yeah. We're going by the Jewish Center.
Okay.
I think it's this way. Comac Road, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we're gonna get on the LIE just for a moment. I used to be a highway cop, by the way. This is my sector, 909. Shout out to highway.
You know what? Highway, for some people, is like IA. You either hate them or you love them.
Oh my God!
But they've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, back in the day, highway used to be a dumping ground
for jerks.
For jerks, yeah.
Yes.
And then
when you got there, was there still some old jerks there? Some relics?
No.
It was mostly
they were not invited back. So we lost highway.
Yes. Under a certain administration.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
we won't mention, right?
Yeah. No politics.
No politics.
But we did lose highway. That's a fact.
We lost highway, right? We lost highway.
Yeah. And then after a certain amount of time, we got highway back into the Suffolk County Police.
Yes.
And I was one of the first people hired back into highway.
Okay.
That you got the highway back.
I remember that they talked about when they put highway back together again.
Yeah.
A lot there was a certain amount of people who weren't invited back.
They were not, yeah. They were like, yep, by invitation only. They didn't want, and now Suffolk County Highway Patrol, it's one of the most professional organizations, and I still remember it was the commanding officer at the time. He's a chief now in the police department.
Okay.
So Chief Drotsky.
Oh, we should have went past this.
Oh yeah, I can.
It's all right. I'll get a little photo of the
welcome center.
The welcome center.
Yeah, no problem.
Because there's
good thing we are in the police car. I have the.
I don't know how you worked highway because it always scared.
Oh my God!
It always scared. Like
job.
I would do a stop on the expressway or on the highway, and I would get scared.
Yep. Oh, that's the ES guys. Taking a break. We do have a satellite office in here, by the way. 903 patrol cars parked here. That's our office in there. Yeah. And this used to be just an empty lot, and then this was made into a nice, beautiful welcome center. Yeah, that's our ES guys. That's our SWAT service. Yeah,
AKA SWAT, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so pretty much I'm a recruitment cop, so, but everybody that I speak to is like, yeah, I want to be K9, I want to be SWAT.
They want to be K9 or they want to be SWAT.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the coolest jobs
in
any police department.
They're one of the most highly trained police officers ever. It's like being in...
I joked with one of the sergeants that was one of my bosses, and I said, you guys are either working out or in training.
Oh, man. One day I had I was working on a highway, and a trailer, a truck, a big truck, it was not a full-size truck, but it was like one of those heavy-duty trucks, like a 350 or 550, I don't know what the nomenclature is. But it was towing a big boat on a trailer. Somehow the trailer got unhitched from the thing, you know, from the truck, and this guy somehow was able to pull off, you know, pull over along with the trailer on the side of the road. So I approached, and I was like, what happened? I was like, I don't know how this happened, but this trailer got unhitched. And if you know these big trailers, there's like a jack, you have to, like, you know, jack it up to take it off the trailer hitch. So this thing being unhitched was, so, you know, like, suddenly it fell off without the jack being underneath it. So now you literally need like a tow truck or something to, you know, to like lift this thing up and put the jack down. And I was waiting for a tow truck, and suddenly one of the ES guys stopped by. They were like, what's going on? I was like, well, you know, I'm waiting for a tow truck because we need a tow to lift this trailer, the tongue of the trailer back up, put the jack down, and then trailer back to the truck. He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. Like, give me a second. I see this guy. I mean, he's built like an ox. You know, his head was like this big and no neck. Yeah, one of those ES guys.
300 pounds.
Yeah. Yes. He lifted this whole thing up, and he just put it back on the truck, and was like, all good? I was like, yeah, I guess that works too, you know? So, but yeah.
I saw an emergency service guy that was probably 6'5" and 350 pounds without exaggeration. The guy was just like a power lifter.
Yeah.
Like you know the strongmen from Icelandia?
Yeah.
That's what he looked. He looked like a Viking god.
Yeah,
and I was like,
those are the ES guys.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, they make people like that.
Yeah. You need those guys.
You need those guys.
And there's, you know, we have a saying. Well, the ES guys have a saying, like when people need help, they call the police.
Yes.
When police need help, they call ES.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, I mean, amazing bunch of guys. They look like monsters, but they're all amazingly trained and always so helpful, you know. So we have one of the best ES units here too. So very proud of our department, by the way.
I know you are. I know you're one of the perfect people for recruitment because you really are excited about the Suffolk County Police Department. And I don't want this to be an ad for the Suffolk County Police Department, which
join scpd.com.
Join scpd.com, which it will be an ad for the police department. But I wanted it to be more about you as an individual and your career. So you mentioned that you're mom was a nurse, and what did your dad do?
Dad was a businessman.
Okay.
So he
what
did,
kind of business?
He all different stuff. He did. He had a private bank.
Wow.
He had made movies in South India. Bollywood.
Yeah. How far is Bollywood from? That's where it is, South India.
Well, it's actually Mumbai or Bombay. That's
Okay.
where Bollywood is located. That's the business capital of India.
Okay.
But then Bollywood is mostly Hindi. Hindi is the main language spoken
Yes.
in India, the most popular language spoken in India.
Yes.
But there are 22 or 25 official languages. So if you go from one state to another in
Yeah,
India, like
yeah.
from New York to New Jersey, it's a completely different language.
That's wild.
And it's as different as English and Chinese. Either you
Wow.
speak it or you don't, then you can read it.
But
or
everyone speaks Hindu.
Hindi. It is the most not you don't have to speak it.
Right.
Actually, most people speak English than Hindi.
Okay.
So the only language that unites India is actually English.
Wow.
It's not. It's not any of our local languages because I don't want to substitute Hindi with my language.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because my language is my mother tongue, which is called Malayalam,
Right.
which is one of the official languages.
So how many languages do you speak right now?
So I can speak Malayalam, which is my mother tongue.
Uh-huh.
I can speak a little bit of Hindi. I can speak a little bit of Tamil, which is the neighboring state.
Are you a
my state.
department authorized interpreter?
I don't have that. I have the lower level certification.
Bilingual.
Yeah, I have a bilingual certificate. I didn't go to the higher.
You didn't test for
I didn't
it.
test for it.
Okay.
No, yeah.
But have you ever had to translate?
I
In your
did.
time?
Yeah, but one thing about my state, it has 100% literacy. So, most people speak English. Yes.
Right,
yeah.
right,
So there are times where maybe if you're an older gentleman where you speak Malayalam but not that much English. So there have been times that I have used it, but it's very few. But and as you probably know, Indian Americans or Asian Americans are the most educated in the United States. They have
Yes.
the most level of education.
Yes.
And out of Asian Americans, Indian Americans are the most educated. And out of Indian Americans, Malayalis, the guys from my state, are the most educated in that group.
Wow.
So there's a more professional class of people, mostly all doctors.
Top percent of the top percent.
Yeah, so that's so to put in perspective, like the average salary in the U.S. is like 50,000 people for an average American, right?
Right.
$50,000.
Yep.
But for an Asian American, it's almost like 100,000.
Okay.
Because a lot, their education and professional, class, what they are. But they called model minorities, which is not a good thing.
Were your parents
yeah.
excited when you told them your decision to go into the police department?
No, they were not.
They were not.
I was a black sheep of the family. If you haven't not figured this out by that, I'm not a doctor or a nurse or lawyer or
Right.
IT guy like most Indians are.
Right.
I'm a soldier and a cop.
Which is an oddity.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, which is an oddity. It's not the norm.
No,
most parents push their children into one of the sciences.
So we have a joke like when you're Indian, when you're born, you pick your profession, either you're a doctor or a lawyer.
Doctor or lawyer, or engineer, is acceptable.
Is acceptable. Yeah, you only pick it. That's how you are.
It's hilarious.
So, to be a soldier and a cop, it's extremely rare.
Now, why do you think you gravitated? What do you think it is about your makeup that made you gravitate towards that?
Ever since I was young, I was always adventurous. Like I liked hiking in woods and nature, and I liked guns and knives, even like when I was a kid, But so it was. I liked motorcycles and racing when I was a teenager, So adventure was in me, And then I fought with my dad, and I didn't want to come to the States. He actually sent me here. I got in trouble because I was just partying too much when I was like 16 and 17.
Okay.
And then he sent me here because he needed to get me out of there, And that's why I came to the States.
Environment is everything.
Yeah.
So when you came here, did you have family here? Or
I did have my aunt.
Okay. Did you live with her initially?
Yeah, in Rockland County, upstate.
Oh wow.
And then, so I.
And then you said you graduated in like 6 months.
Yeah, so I was finishing up my high school there,
Uh-huh.
and that's when he kicked me out and got me here, and I wasn't too happy. This is Suffolk Jewish Community Center. Amazing community partners. I just had to drop something off to them. If you can just give me like 2 seconds, I'll be right back.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
All right, let's make the best of it.
Yeah, so the Jewish Center was closed.
Yeah, I had to drop something off here, but I'll come back tomorrow, whenever. But they get excellent community partners. They love law enforcement. They always accommodate us.
What's the name of this center?
Suffolk Jewish Community Center.
Okay.
SYJCC. And they went through a lot of issues for the last few months as the war started.
Yeah.
And you may know, I think there was one or two Long Islanders that were part of the hostages.
Yes.
So
it's a really sad situation.
yeah, so we supported them, as well as the Muslim community too. We have almost 100,000 Muslims that live on Long Island as well, and they're also excellent partners. Even when I mean, they have opposing views and ideas in their communities.
Yes.
But they're always very peaceful, and both the Jews and the Muslims. And as a police, we have supported both groups. So
like you said, 95% approval rating.
Yeah.
In Suffolk County of the.
I think it was 90%, and then it was 85% in the minority community.
Wow.
Which is amazing. Yeah. So, and if you look back, so all the social justice movement, it started
in 2020.
2020,
yeah.
Right? So this was after the social justice movement. The survey was done.
Yep.
And so we had no problems here. The city, there was a lot of issues with looting and rioting, and
this department's always been extremely professional.
Yeah,
professional department.
Absolutely, it's one of the best trained in the country. Our academy is almost 7 months plus.
It's I know when I took the test and when you took the test, it was 30,000 plus people taking the exam.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it was extreme. I remember a professor telling me that it was harder to get into the Suffolk County Police Department than it was to get into an Ivy League school.
Absolutely, because out of it is less than 1% of people that apply into the department will become a police officer.
Wow.
So let's say about 30,000, 50,000, whatever the number is. We numbers that take the police exam at any given time.
Right.
We hire about 550 people in the 4-year cycle.
In a 4-year cycle, about how many people are hired?
550 people.
550.
So it's less than 1%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's very difficult to get in.
But I know the last exam, I was hearing numbers like 12,000.
It was like 13. Yeah, it was close to 14,000. It was 13,000 plus.
Yeah.
It was one of the lowest numbers that we had. And
but you said that's the case around the country also. It's down
40%. Recruitment is down 40% plus in law enforcement around the country.
Yeah.
It is
a lot of that stems from 2020, COVID, and negative media. I
mean,
I don't get political.
No, yeah. So we have to find out why, right? And when you
what's your theory?
Yeah, so when you look into the reasons why, when you blame it on media and social justice movement, it is very simple, simplistic way of putting it. You're not looking at the big picture. So to tell you why that's not really true. I mean, it has a role to play in it.
Definitely a factor,
right? A factor, yeah. But Suffolk County, even with this approval rating, right? We have a high approval rating for the police. We have one of the highest paid police departments in the country, right? And
what is top salary?
So right now, our top salary is $159,000 base pay.
160 base.
160 base pay,
okay.
Plus automatic benefits, plus overtime. An average patrol officer will make $200,000 per year in Suffolk County Police. Not including overtime.
Wow.
Right?
What's the I've heard numbers
Yeah.
as high as 350 for like some maniacs. So
Oh yeah,
crazy overtime.
With the overtime, if you don't want to go home, I mean that's not my life, but you know, whatever. If you want to do it, there are people that make $350,000 and $400,000 from overtime.
Wild.
And this is a cop. You know, you make more than doctors.
Right.
And this is how good this community treats us. They have so much respect for us. They support us, and so does our politicians, our lawmakers. But despite that, we had one of the lowest numbers for police exam signups in Suffolk County history.
Right.
We had only 14,000 people sign up on the last test. So why is that? It's
know.
not because of social justice, you know, because that doesn't really play a huge role here, you know. Not here, not on Long Island.
So my theory
Yeah.
is that we need to do more propaganda style media for recruitment, the way that the Army was doing recruitment.
Even military is down. Even military is down in recruitment.
Right.
So this is why I think, or this is what other pundits think. The kids these days, you know, our age group that we look at,
which is what
around 18 to 35 years old.
18 to 35.
Is
okay.
what we that we are trying
that
to
you're
recruit
recruiting.
from.
Yep.
This age group, currently in this day, in this age, right, thinks differently. They don't think as we did, 15 and 20 years ago when we got into the police department, you know. So their motivations are different. Their attention span is different, right? So just as an example, when I grew up in the 80s, right, if you wanted to know something, something that you did not know, right, you have two options. You either have to ask somebody that knew the answer to whatever you're seeking, right, or you had to go to a library and look through a book to find out that answer.
Right.
Those were the only two options you had. But today, if you look at the same age group as us when we grew up, right?
I'm a little warm. I can take off that. No, it's good. It's good.
Any piece of information in this world that you need, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, that information is available at your fingertip over a smartphone, you know?
Yeah.
So these kids are much smarter than us. They know more than us. Their motivations are different. The way they think is different, you know? So that's something we haven't got an understanding of. How do we motivate these kids to take our job, you know? So, and it's not because of negative connotation or social justice movement, not by itself. It's something else, you know? So
what's your theory of what you think it is?
So, so we have to be more appealing to them, you know? Pensions don't appeal to them.
Right.
You know, they don't even care.
20 years.
They don't even have that attention. They don't even think about a month in advance. You know.
Right.
The attention.
Is it 20 or is it 25 right now?
It's 20 years for us.
It is 20.
In many departments, it's 22 and a half in NYPD. Corrections at 25.
Many are 25.
Yeah,
right.
or higher. You know.
Do you know what New York State Police is?
New York State Police is still 20.
20.
Yeah. They're. FBI and all that is, I believe it's 25 and higher. So we have one of the best salaries, and the best retirement system, and the best benefits in the country. So, but we are not marketing, that to the kids. That's appealing, you know. So that's what we got to crack. The way they think, we had to crack how they think, because it's not like us. So that's a challenge. And back in the day, we didn't have to do any advertisement when the police test was given. 50,000 people just took the test. That's it.
Right.
You know, they knew Suffolk County Police. Oh my God, we needed to get in.
Do you know what the highest number ever to sign up for a test was?
Like 50,000.
50,000 people.
Now it's 14,000.
I know in in the 1990s, I had a political science professor say that the cops on Long Island are overpaid, and he's like, and the evidence is the fact that 50,000 people are signing up for this job.
I don't know about being overpaid though. We live on Long Island.
Right.
It is a very expensive place. The average property tax is about $20,000 here, $25,000 if you live decent neighborhood. Home prices are about $750 to $1 million.
I don't know how anyone affords to put down a deposit on
it
a
is
house.
very difficult to make a living on Long Island. So at least, so that salary, you need good quality cops, to do good quality policing, right? And so I think law enforcement in this day and age, what we do, we deserve every bit of it, and the public thinks that we do.
As you mentioned before, they are some highly trained professionals.
No, these are the highest trained police officers in the country, and you can ask our residents. NYPD. There's no knock against NYPD. We love NYPD, but it's a different type of policing that we do on Long Island as opposed to the city policing. Right?
Yes,
and the residents expect that type of policing to be done here. Just as an example, if you're in New York City, you call 911 and it's a non-emergency or non-violent thing. Let's say a motor vehicle accident, right? Anyway, the police are not coming,
right?
Unless you are really hurt. Unless the police
They'll
are
tell
really
you to
needed.
exchange information.
Yeah,
and be on your way.
Information, be on your way. In Suffolk County, you sneeze and you call the police, we'll be there.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
The service level is a higher expectation.
It is, and the public expects it, and we provide it.
Yes.
And that's a difference.
Now I know that just outside of New York City, there are other high-paid departments in New York, like Westchester.
Yes.
I know Port Authority is a
Port Authority is good. Yes.
Wonderful job. Are you aware of any of those other high-paid departments? I know Nassau County.
Nassau County is pretty decent, but not. We are number one in the country.
Well, Nassau County though has the 12-hour shifts.
They do. That is a little better chart.
I think 10 hours is ideal. 4 days on, 4 days off is the ideal chart.
Yes.
12 is a little bit too long for me.
Yeah.
For most people, I think you talk to them. You do a 12-hour shift, and then
it is a long day.
It's a long day. Yeah, you only have to do it for 2 days, but it's a long day. I know nurses do it all the time.
Yes.
They do a 12-hour shift, but they're always exhausted and recovering the next day.
And policing, you don't want to be exhausted by the end of the day.
No.
You have to be sharp.
God forbid something happens in your 11th hour.
Yep, exactly.
Something critical. You have a critical incident in your 11th hour, and now you have to be on duty for the next 4 or 5 hours.
Absolutely.
It's too long of a shift. In my
What's happening here? Got a fire?
Yeah, we got some smoke.
You don't usually.
Looks like something might be on fire. I'm sure there's been a 911 call.
Yeah, I'm not really on the band here, but
yeah, something. It might be a house fire. Just judging by the location.
What precinct is 4th, right?
Yeah, I know that we have really good volunteer firemen here.
Oh yeah.
And if there's smoke anywhere,
oh, they're coming.
They're on top of it.
They're volunteers. They don't get paid, but God bless them.
God bless them. I always said that when the EMTs showed up, and I knew that they were volunteers.
Yeah.
I always praised them and thanked them so much. It's never a dull day.
Yep. It's a big enough place. It's 150 miles long, this island,
150 miles.
Yeah. It's 3 million people, so there's always stuff happening. But
3 million people, and how many police officers in the Suffolk County Police Department? Is it 2,400?
But 2,500 Suffolk County police officers. We are the 12th largest police department in the country. So that's Marine Bureau on the boats. We are an island, so we do have a lot of boats.
Yeah, one of the benefits to a department this large is you have every type of major unit.
Oh, absolutely.
Marine Bureau, Aviation, Highway Patrol, Emergency Services, K-9 unit.
Hundreds of different types of jobs. Yeah.
Right.
So there are about 18,000 police departments in this country. right?
18,000 police departments.
And almost 800,000 cops in the nation.
800,000 cops. And I know a stat that 50% of them are less than 50 members.
Yes. Yep. I mean, actually, probably even more than that. The vast majority of it.
Greater than 50%.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, so anything over 100 people is considered a large department.
I know. I've talked to, on the podcast, the Hero Academy. Shout out to the Hero Academy. I've talked to guys that have been members of 300-member departments, and they consider a decent size. They're like, yeah, we have a decent-sized department.
Yeah. That's not even one of our precincts, you know?
I know. How many guys do you think work in the first precinct? 250? 300?
Yeah, about 200-300 people.
So what is an entire department in some places is one precinct here.
Yeah, like even so, Suffolk County Police is not the only police department in Suffolk County. So there are about 30 agencies, law enforcement agencies, that operate out of Suffolk County. We are just one of them.
Wow, 30 agencies.
But we happen to be the largest. So we do have the Suffolk County Sheriffs. We have Amityville PD. We have East Hampton, Southampton.
All the village departments, right?
Towns and villages. We have probation. You know, we have park police. We have state police.
So someone that lives in Suffolk County that wants to become law enforcement, they have a lot to choose from.
Oh, absolutely.
With the villages, I know you have to live in the village. A lot of them have that.
But you take the same police test. So you take the police test that Suffolk County Police gives, and that is the police test that's used by all the departments here, or majority of the police departments here.
I was introduced to the police exam in high school as a senior. A recruiter, I believe his name is Paul Thalia. If he is still alive, I'd love to interview him and meet with him, because he changed my life. He handed out one of those contact cards, and I'll never forget to this day. He said, you don't know where your life will be 4 years from now. He's like, you're not eligible, you guys aren't eligible to take the exam now, but fill out this card just showing interest, and when the exam becomes available, they'll mail you something, or they'll get in contact with you, they'll call you, they'll mail you something. And that's exactly what I did. And then the test came up, and he set me on that path of taking other exams. Other people gave me the smart advice of taking multiple exams, so that you put yourself in the mindset of exam taking for civil service. You have to be thinking a certain type of way in order to score high enough.
Absolutely. And I still do that to the time. I'm a recruitment officer, and I tell people exactly the same thing. So our department is a little different, where we don't give year-round testing. It's every 4 years.
Right.
So we give out contact cards, but we're a little more high-tech now, where we have, it's by
email
and QR codes and websites, but the same concepts, right? And I tell people exactly the same thing. Hey, listen, sign up, fill out one of these, and I'll remind you when the exam is open.
Right.
So you can take the exam. And just because you take the exam does not mean you're going to become a police officer. It's very difficult to be a police officer.
It's not a guarantee.
No. But it is a shot.
And it's an option. And it's an option.
Exactly. So the more options you have, the better off you will be, right?
So my son was, he was 22 at the time of the test. And I told him, and his dream is to become a UFC fighter. And he knows I do not want him to do that whatsoever. I'm afraid of him getting concussions and just, other types of injuries. But the biggest thing that I'm fearful of is the brain. I don't want his personality to change. And he is a good fighter. He's wrestled since he was in kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
But he'd also make an incredible police officer. He has the personality for it. But that's more my dream for him than it is his dream for himself. His dream is to become a fighter. And I said to him, my big spiel, I begged him to take the test. My big spiel was, hey, this will just give you more options. If you score well enough, you can always defer. Because he said, he's like, I don't want to, he's like, if I score high, he's like, I don't want to get called right away. And I said, there's no guarantee you will get called right away, because in Suffolk County, there's a lottery system. So even if you score 95 or above, you might be in a band with how many other people? 5,000 other people?
And based on the lottery, you may not you may not, you may be a lower on the lottery score, and you may not be called. So,
I know a guy who went through the entire process of the physical, the psych, and he didn't get called for the last class off of the test.
yeah.
And I tried to talk him into taking one more exam, and his applicant investigator told him to take one more exam, just in case he didn't make it into that class.
Yes.
And he didn't take the next exam. He actually went into the NYPD, and I'm just like, oh man, we lost a good one, because he was just frustrated with the process.
It is.
It's a long process.
It could take years.
It could take
Especially
years.
in our department,
Right.
because the testing is every 4 years, and even after you take the test, you
It
might be
could take-
waiting another 4 years to get called. You know?
Right, right.
So it might take you 8 years to even, like,
So when you approach an 18-year-old, you tell them it might be 6 to 7 years later.
Yeah.
When
But you know what I tell them?
What do you tell them?
So, listen, if 4 years from now, if you're making over $200,000 a year,
Right.
don't bother. You know what I
Right.
mean? You continue on your journey, whatever you do, it's fine. But if you're not,
Right.
listen, you have no potential to be making that kind of money.
Right.
Just that motivation, take the police test.
I tried to recruit a guy from the gym I belong to, and he said that he was a physician's assistant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all right, you're making good money.
All right, you're making decent money, okay. No, it's a professional job.
Right.
But
right.
even then, you're not retiring 20 years.
Right.
You could potentially get on this job at 19 years old and then be retired by 39 years old.
That's wild.
Making over $200,000 with a high school diploma.
And then start your next career.
Yeah, and your pension alone is over $100,000, at minimum.
So I remember the recruiter in 1994 said that it was a $3 million opportunity.
It is. It's $1 million job, they call it. Yeah.
It is $1 million job, and now it's probably closer to $4 million with everything all included,
Benefits.
all of your salary, all of your benefits.
Our healthcare, dental, optical, all these things that we have negotiated by union. One of the best unions, by the way, our PVA, SDSOA, hands down, best union in the country, and they do a great job. What these, our union leaders have negotiated for all of us is absolutely the best benefits package anybody can get. Just our healthcare alone is worth about $50,000. That alone, right?
So you sound a little biased, but do you know of any other jobs in New York State that are better than Suffolk County?
In the country, no.
In the country, not even the state.
Nope. So there are some departments in California that has a higher base
Starting.
pay, starting pay and base pay.
Okay.
That may be comparable, a little higher than us.
Right.
But when you put the retirement age, retirement plan, and the benefit plan together, there is no job. There's no government job. There is no law enforcement job. Period. In the country, possibly the world, that's better than Suffolk County.
So the only thing that could beat Suffolk County could be the weather. Like have you ever been to Southern California?
Yes, I was just there last year.
Year round, 80 degrees,
70,
and sunny,
75 degree.
75,
I was
sunny.
in San Francisco.
Because we get snow, and I remember shoveling.
God, yeah.
I remember shoveling and thinking, "This is my last year doing this." I was so mad I wanted to throw the shovel.
But
We get the 4 seasons,
we have 4 seasons,
and it makes you appreciate.
No, it is,
It makes you appreciate.
spring, having the
Spring.
beauty of spring, man. Oh my God, just the bleakness of winter, right?
Yes.
You go through snow in cool season, and then you see the spring flowers blowing. Oh my God, it's absolutely beautiful.
It's a gorgeous island. We do have some top beaches.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, top beaches in the world.
It's a little colder, I gotta say. Our waters are a little colder than Florida waters and stuff.
Yeah, but Florida can't even compare. Like
Florida, you're great, but I will visit you and I'll come back to Long Island. You know, that's it.
Yeah, Florida can't compare on pay.
Oh no, pay? Oh, absolutely not. Or retirement, unions.
Yeah.
Florida. I don't think it's a union state.
They do stand by their officers in Florida, I have to say.
I don't know about all that.
You don't think so?
Well, I mean,
I know that.
I'm going to tell you this.
I know that Arizona has done. I don't want to speak bad about. My son just moved to Arizona, but I know that the Phoenix Police Department has done some of their officers who got injured on the job.
Yes, Florida too.
Florida
these
too.
these are
without getting political.
Yeah, but this is one of the reasons I recommend our job, because of our strong union.
Right.
The union advocates for its members, right?
Yes.
And having a union job, you know, it is make sure that we are protected while doing this very dangerous job.
Yes.
You know,
that's that's what our old PBA president used to say, is that, you know, talk to me when you have to put on a bulletproof vest and you don't know if you're going to go home to your family. Police Week is coming up, so they're setting up for Police Week.
Yeah. Oh, that's my boss, by the way.
I know him from the 5th.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah. Did you mention to him that we would be filming? All right, so anybody that doesn't want to be on camera, let me know, and I won't put you on camera. What's going on? What's going on, fellas? What are you guys setting up for?
This is my partner, Tom Delina, Tom and Tom.
Hey,
I'd shake your hand, but you're not related.
I'll shake your hand. Bring it for the real thing, man.
What's up, brother?
How you doing, brother? All right?
How you been?
Thank you for
K9.
We're K9 guys. I'm Officer DeWitt. Matthew, nice to meet you.
Where's the dog?
I'm gonna bring him out right now and do a little practice with him.
Awesome. What's going on, Sarge? How you been?
Good. This is my boss, by the way.
Yeah.
Joe Steigel, Commanding Officer of Community Relations Bureau.